How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout. We are, in fact, doing a Bitcoin giveaway on this channel, so if you would like to have a chance to win 0.1 Bitcoin, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and comment down below, including your Bitcoin wallet address. So if you're the lucky selected winner, and we will be selecting the winner on Friday, you'll have a place to receive your winnings. And you could also contact us through Snapchat. We actually are on Snapchat now, so feel free to use that Snapchat code, and you'll be connected with us. That's the same way you could do it. And yeah, all that being said, we are in fact talking about Nucleus Vision today, and it is interesting to be seeing all the different things that have been happening involving India and Nucleus Vision and cryptocurrency in general, in particular when you take into consideration where Nucleus Vision currently stands. It is interesting to see how things are moving forward. So I know now you might be wondering, how does India's economic growth actually lead to Lamborghinis? Now, think about it. India is one of the fastest developing countries when it comes to technology right now. And it's actually kind of interesting to see how India and China have been competing. And I think over the next few years, we're really going to see an increase in the performance capabilities of this sort of technology space, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies and in particular Nucleus Vision. Now, I also want to bring up the Internet of Things, which is a huge paradigm shift that's essentially going to really connect everything across the world on a global scale. And it's really going to be playing a huge role in countries that have a lot of people who aren't right now connected to the internet, who will be connected to the internet in the next coming few years. And those people who become connected to the internet are probably going to be interested in cryptocurrencies. And if even those who aren't, Nucleus Vision is essentially positioning themselves in retail spaces as well, and bringing cryptos into the common knowledge of people, the common use in this sort of membership-based program, because you really have to think about who is actually going into a Dunkin' Donuts and purchasing their coffee using a Litecoin. It's just not happening. But Nucleus Vision is, I think, really one of those technologies that has the potential to really capitalize on the Internet of Things wave that we're seeing. Not to say that every cryptocurrency won't see a benefit from this huge paradigm shift. Now, I'm not knocking Litecoin. I'm just saying Nucleus Vision definitely is leveraging themselves and their possibilities by approaching the retail space from this membership point of view, which is really something that's developing and is going to be having a real impact, especially as we see China and India competing, and Nucleus Vision rising and having its reputation so well established in India. It is very exciting things happening in the near future. Nucleus Vision is strategically placed in a key part of the world right now. India, the Retailers Association of India, all these various different mentions that we see when we look up the news regarding Nucleus Vision, it really is a developing trend in a direction that you can... It seems as if the people at Nucleus Vision have really a good idea of what the future is going to look like. I think retail is one of those spaces that's desperately in need for change on multiple levels. You look at how the United States retail is taking a pretty big hit right now. A lot of household names going out of business, like Toys R Us and all these Sears and Kmart, all these companies that used to be doing so well, but for some reason they're not surviving as we move forward into the digital age. But I think India really is doing something that's they're really going to be out-competing a lot of the competition. I mean, you look at India's GDP growth during January through March period of 2015, more growth than China's, only at 7%, where India was at 7.5%. So, I mean, I think India is making a lot of interesting decisions. I mean, obviously, when you pay attention to the different countries that are stand to benefit from the technological shift and the cryptocurrencies and this international connection that's made possible by the various different networks, well, I think India is really moving forward in a substantial way. I think Nucleus Vision, with their approach, taking into consideration consumer data, especially with the conversation that's currently happening between Facebook and the interested parties regarding the usage of data. I think as we move forward, we're going to see that conversation developing and encompassing a lot of various different levels, and that conversation is going to continue to happen because data is such an important variable as we currently stand. I mean, as far as cryptocurrency goes, we see the market where it is at 270 billion, and then of course Bitcoin dominance at 42.4% at the time of making this video, which is pretty high. But you have to understand, we have been seeing a lot of volatility in the past few weeks. It's been a pretty bumpy road, let's be honest with ourselves, and I'm sure that there's been people who've really found out how to see gains from this, and then I'm sure that there's been people who've been hit pretty hard, and it really comes down to your research when you really think about it. So the top one for the day, we've got Loom Network. Anybody who saw that one coming, the 34% increase, pretty interesting stuff happening there. Steam. Now, Steam, we always talk about these different cryptocurrencies that have an approach to media, and I think Steam is definitely on there, but that's a topic for another video. Digibyte, definitely another one to be paying attention to, and where it currently stands. I think we'll definitely be making a video on Digibyte in the future too. I think that that's one of those technologies that's going to be playing a huge role in terms of the whole blockchain aspect of cryptocurrency, and where these companies that are going to be getting involved with crypto are going to have to go to these established variables that have already have made themselves known. I think Nucleus Vision really does have at 1 cent, me personally, I see this as a interesting opportunity, but of course remember, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. I'm not your dad. Videos for entertainment, educational purposes only. But yeah, it is interesting to see how Nucleus Vision has been just moving forward in such an interesting way, in particular when it comes to India. I'm really interested in seeing what's going to be happening in the next few years. A lot of people don't realize the recognition the Retailers Association of India has honored Nucleus Vision with is really going to be playing a significant role as we move forward. Nucleus Vision is really making leaps and bounds forward thinking when it comes to retail. When I think of retail, I think of all the companies that are going out of business right now in the United States. See, it's 4th of July, so it's a good opportunity for us to talk about these companies like Sears and Toys R Us and all these different great giants of retail that were so powerful in the 90s and the early 2000s, and slowly but surely have been meeting their demise as we move forward into the world of tomorrow. But my question is, what happened? Exactly how did all of these huge retail giants come to such a significant decline? And the answer is fairly simple. Pretty much anybody will tell you the internet. They'll bring up Amazon. But what I'm fundamentally bringing up right here is that retail is not really going to come to an end. I think that there's an opportunity for retail to evolve. And I think that Nucleus Vision has a forward-thinking approach that's really going to leverage blockchain technology and all these different variables, membership programs, and take us into the next stage when it comes to these things. You see, you have to understand how significant India really is in the next levels of how technology is going to be advancing. You talk to, you call up for tech support support. And a lot of those jobs are going over to India because they have some very qualified people over there. India is a very fast developing nation, and they're rivaling a lot of the competition in that part of the world. See, people who live in the United States are often blind to what's happening on a global scale, but these other countries, China, India, and the greater elements of that region are ultimately making some really big strides forward and movements in respectively when it comes to all these different technologies and so forth. So I'm very much excited about what's going to be happening in the next few years when it comes to these technologies. I mean, talking about cryptocurrencies and talking about the different applications that these different things have moving forward, I think Nucleus Vision's really leveraging the potential that's available when it comes to retail. You think about it, everybody who walks inside of any retail outlet is ultimately bringing their smartphone with them these days, which ultimately is a opportunity that can easily be leveraged in favor of the companies at large, and Nucleus Vision's really giving that option to the consumers, in a new way. When we see on the news right now the conversation that's happening involving Facebook, and the public consciousness is really shifting in a direction that's becoming more aware of data, and they really should be. People definitely need to be more aware of what's happening with their data, and as this is happening, it really gives an opportunity for technology like Nucleus Vision. I mean, I've done my research into the team that's working on this technology and so forth. I think that there really are some very exciting things that are going to be happening in the near future when it comes to Nucleus Vision and a lot of these greater elements of the advancement of the Internet of Things and all across the world, how many people are getting involved with all these different technologies and so forth, especially when we're so early in the game, now in the 7th month of 2018. So we're moving right along to 2019, and the entire market has not come to a steep decline. I mean, obviously it's a bumpy road. There's going to be volatility all the way across the board, but overall I'm happy with where things are going to be going. Obviously 2017 was it was a test. They were obviously just testing out the market. It was up at its all-time highs back then, and now obviously they like to test things. Those who are in control like to basically see how the communities are going to respond and so forth. And I think that as things continue to move forward, we're definitely going to see certainly this volatility could continue, and we could see this similar market for who knows how long, but it's going to take the introduction of regulations and a lot of these different variables for things to become a little bit more stable. But I think once that happens, the two competing forces that we often talk about on here are ultimately going to be going head to head, and eventually I think we're going to start seeing things moving up, and often in cryptocurrency we see them revisiting those all-time highs and moving up further. So it's really only a matter of time, and certainly we are very early in the game when it comes to these things. I mean, those of us who've been involved with cryptocurrency for any amount of years have certainly seen greater days and better days and worse days, but ultimately you have to have tough skin to make it in this space, and ultimately do your research.